This will be a reading of Kurt Vonnegut. The work itself that I will be reading is actually from an interview about the work that he authored, Man Without a Country. I will tell both. I will tell both the part about from the interview and the actual part in A Man Without a Country. And it is really told in an allegory about when Vonnegut tells his wife that he's going to go out to buy an envelope. And he says, she says, well, you're not a poor man. You know, why don't you go online and buy 100 envelopes and put them in the closet? And so I pretend not to hear her and go out to get an envelope because I'm going to have a hell of a good time in the process of buying one envelope. I meet a lot of people, and I see some great-looking babes, and a fire engine goes by, and I give them the thumbs up, and ask a woman what kind of dog that is, and I don't know. The moral of the story is we're here on Earth to fart around, and of course, the computers will do us out of that. And what the computer people don't realize, or they don't care, is we're dancing animals. You know, we love to move around. And we're not supposed to dance at all anymore. Now, that comes from A Man Without a Country. In A Man Without a Country, he actually says it a little bit differently, but it's the same concept. He's talking about his wife and what kind of person she is, how she's inquisitive. And that all starts as a foray into her asking him the question, where are you going? And I say, he says, and I say, I'm going out to get an envelope. And she says, well, you're not a poor man. Why don't you buy 1,000 envelopes? They'll deliver them, and you can put them in a closet. And, he doesn't say he pretends not to hear her, but I like that part. He says, and I say, hush. So I go down the steps, and this is on 48th Street in New York City, between 2nd Avenue and 3rd. And I go out to this newsstand across the street where they sell magazines and lottery tickets and stationery. And I know their stock very well. And so I get an envelope, a manila envelope. It is as though whoever made that envelope knew what size of paper I'm using. I get in line because there are people buying lottery tickets, candy, and that sort of thing. And I chat with them. I say, do you know anybody who ever won anything in the lottery? And what happened to your foot? Finally, I get up to the head of the line. The people who own this store are Hindus. The woman behind the counter has a jewel between her eyes. Now, isn't that worth the trip? I ask her, have there been any big lottery winners lately? Then I pay for the envelope. I take my manuscript and I put it inside. The envelope has 2 little metal prongs for going through a hole in the flap. For those of you who have never seen one, there are 2 ways of closing a manila envelope. I use both of them. First, I lick the mucilage. It's kind of sexy. I put the little thin metal diddle through the hole. I never did know what they call them. Then I glue the flap down. I go next to the Postal Convenience Center down the block at the corner of 47th Street and 2nd Avenue. This is very close to the United Nations. So there are all these funny-looking people there from all over the world. I go in there, and we are lined up again. I'm secretly in love with the woman behind the counter. She doesn't know it. My wife knows it. I am not about to do anything about it. She is so nice. All I have ever seen of her is from the waist up, because she is always behind the counter. But every day she will do something with herself above her waist to cheer us up. Sometimes her hair will be all frizzy. Sometimes she will have ironed it flat. One day she was wearing black lipstick. This is also exciting and so generous of her, just to cheer us all up, people from all over the world. So I wait in line, and I say, hey, what was that language you were talking? Was it Urdu? I have nice chats. Sometimes not. There's also, if you don't like it here, why don't you go back to your little tin horn dictatorship where you came from? One time, I had my pocket picked in there and got to meet a cop and tell him about it. Anyway, Finally, I get up to the head of the line. I don't reveal to her that I love her. I keep poker-faced. She might as well be looking at a cantaloupe. There is so little information in my face. But my heart is beating. And I give her the envelope, and she weighs it, because I want to put the right number of stamps on it, and have her okay it. If she says that's the right number of stamps and cancels it, that's it. They can't send it back to me. I get the right stamps, and I address the envelope to Carol in Woodstock. Then I go outside, and there's a mailbox, and I feed the pages to the giant blue bullfrog, and it says, "Ribbit." And I go home, and I have had one hell of a good time. Electronic communities build nothing. You wind up with nothing. We are dancing animals. How beautiful it is to get up and go out and do something. We are here on Earth to fart around. Don't let anybody tell you any different. And that's the gist of it. I mean, I don't necessarily agree with everything he wrote, but it's a nice thought nonetheless. Rest in peace, Kurt Vonnegut.